Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hello. As always, I am joined by my fabulous co-host, Kate Sitars. And today we have the pleasure of also being joined by a fabulous CCA student and copywriter, Charlotte Ellis. Hello, Charlotte.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We wanted to bring Charlotte in, of course, because we love bringing in CCA students and love hearing their stories and their wins and sharing that with all of you. But we especially wanted to bring Charlotte in because of the industry that she transitioned out of and what she's been experienced since she did, because I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people who are listening or watching. So, Charlotte, how did you get into copywriting? Where did you come from?
Yeah, so my background is in teaching. So I've actually done lots of different types of teaching. Most recently, I've been a preschool teacher for the last 6 years. And yeah, I think just in the last few years, I started thinking about transitioning out of that. I felt a bit burnt out. I have 2 young kids, and it was just getting to be a lot to have kids all day at work and then kids at home. And I was looking for something with a bit more flexibility, especially with my youngest going to school next year, all the holidays and teacher work days and things like that. Like, it was getting a bit hard to manage all of their schedules. And yeah, I think I also always knew that I wasn't going to be teaching forever. I feel like there are a lot of my strengths that weren't being utilized in the classroom. Yeah, I love writing. I love nerdy admin stuff. I'm quite introverted. So I think I found it really draining to be teaching all day. So I was kind of looking for something different to do, but I just kind of thought well, what else would I do? Yeah, so I actually came across the CCA in a Facebook ad, like a lot of other students. Yeah, and I was I think it came just at the right time where I'd had a rough couple of weeks at work. I was I just don't know if I can do this much longer. And yeah, so it was a really spontaneous thing. I did the free video training that you guys have. And then within a couple of days, I was yeah, I'm going to do the course. What's the worst that can happen, basically? I thought, there's no point just talking about how I want a change if I don't actually take action. Like you guys say, that's really up to me, my career pathway is I need to take ownership of that. And if I want a change, then I need to make that happen. So yeah, that's how I got into the CCA. And yeah, I love it.
That's terrific.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Had you heard about copywriting? I'm curious, before you saw that, or is it brand new,
No.
for many people, right?
Yeah, I didn't even know what copywriting was 7 months ago, which is funny because both of my parents are from a marketing advertising background. And so when I told them about it, they were like, what? You're following in our footsteps. And I was like, am I? I don't even know what copywriting is, but I'm excited about it. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. I have a lot of writers in my family and things. So yeah, I guess it does make sense, but no, I didn't really know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we always say it's probably one of the best kept secret careers for who knows why, but
yeah.
That's terrific. Well, and so what has your experience been like with copywriting? Did you set yourself a goal, and what does that look like for you?
So I think I wrote right after I signed up for the course, I wrote in the Facebook group. It must have been around April, I'm a teacher. I'm kind of thinking about what's next for me. And I think I said, by the time my youngest goes to school next year, so August 2023, I'd love to be able to transition out of teaching into something else. And so I kind of set that as my goal, to be able to replace my income by then and be able to have the flexibility to do just copywriting. Yes, so happened a bit quicker.
Spoiler, yeah. It is only 2022 still.
Yeah. I think I just wanted to make sure that I didn't rush into anything. And when you're first starting out too, you don't really know how it's going to go and if you're going to be able to get work and things. So but that was kind of my goal, was by the time she went to school, that I wanted to be able to do copywriting full time.
Mm-hmm. And so are you doing copywriting? Have you made the full transition out of teaching yet?
Yes. So I left teaching. I had my last day about 2 weeks ago, which was like, it was really exciting. And then like the day after, I was like, oh my goodness, what have I done? I was instantly like, this is, like leading up to it, I was like, it's really exciting. And then I was like, oh, okay, hopefully this all works out. But I think I kind of knew in the back of my mind, like I can always fall back on subbing if I need to. But I was like, the worst case scenario is that I'll be teaching again, which is not like terrible or anything, but I was like, the best case scenario is it works out great. And like, you never know. So I think that was kind of my mindset, is like, well, how am I ever going to like give it my all and know what's possible without making the leap?
Yeah, that's a great point. And so you gave yourself what, 13, 14 months, something like that. And it took you more like 6 or 7 months. That's really amazing, just to put some math to it. All of you teachers out there will appreciate it. And so what has, and you certainly don't have to give us specific numbers by any means, but what has that looked like for you to be able to transition out? What is your income like? What are the hours you're working like?
Yeah, so before I left teaching, I wanted to make sure that I did have enough work to keep me going. So I was doing probably about 10 or 12 hours a week of copywriting work on top of teaching for like 3 or 4 months. And then I had an agency reach out to me saying that they needed a copywriter for about 15 or 20 hours a week of work. And I was like, this is like, I kind of wanted something like that where I knew that I could count on kind of a base of work. And then on top of that, I could have my own clients, my own projects and things, but that kind of gave me the confidence to be like, okay, I'm going to have income every week. So now I'm working, it depends on the week. I do track my time. So it's usually about 20 hours of like client work. And then a bit of time on top of that is like my admin things. So that's a good balance for me. And I am like making more than I did when I was teaching.
That's great. Oh, we love to hear that. And now I'm working less and making more. God, that's the goal.
Yeah, like the flexibility has been really life-changing. Like this week, my 7-year-old had a half day at school, and normally I would have been like, okay, I have to take the afternoon off, or like, what do I do? Whereas this time I was like, oh, I'll just pick up like both kids. We'll go to the pool or have some fun in the afternoon. And then I'll just catch up on work like in the afternoon, later in the evening. And that was really nice to be able to do that. I really appreciate the control that I have over my time now.
Exactly. What have been some of the keys for you as you have, or tips or anything you can offer when it comes to transitioning from one career into another? Were there any things that you did, or any, mindset changes that kind of helped you do that?
I think like just realizing that, like you guys say a lot, like you're learning a new career. And so you have to be ready, like you're a beginner, and so I've had tons of like lots of rejection, lots of no's, lots of like technological issues when you're like working with a client, like there's just all these little hurdles that you have to overcome. So I think just being okay with that and realizing like there's a steep learning curve, but you get your confidence by like just taking things as they come and like overcoming little by little. Like, I think it is hard, especially if you're kind of like a high achiever. You're used to like, for the most part, like doing well, and like you kind of want to be the best right away. And I think it's hard sometimes to realize like, oh, there's so much I don't know. And even now I like listen to the podcast and like see other posts in the CCA Facebook group, and I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. Like, I'm still learning so much. So I think like that it takes getting used to, but it's also one thing that I really love is that like there's so much to learn. Like there's so many different types of copywriting and marketing, and like I just love to learn. So I think that was actually positive for me.
Mhm. Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
No, go ahead.
I know you said about 4 months overlap, right, of teaching and then also taking on copywriting work. So during that period, what do you have advice? Because I think that's kind of the most overwhelming or scary period for a lot of people of how do I manage all of that?
Yeah, I think just like I had to carve out time. And even when I didn't feel like it, I just sat down to do copywriting. Like for me, that looked like after the kids are in bed, I would probably do like an hour and a half every evening. And then on Saturday, I would go to the library all Saturday morning and just work. And, I did have other people in my life be like, oh, like, what'd you do on the weekend? And I'd be like, work, like my other job, and people would be like, oh, like what a bummer. And I'm like, no, I'm actually like, I've got long-term goals. And so like, if you've got a goal, then you have to be willing to work towards it and take those steps. And so I think for me, it was just like, yep, I can see like what I want and I'm going to do what it takes, no matter what it takes, whether I feel like it or not. Like I'm just going to keep that goal in mind and keep working for it.
Yeah, that's so wise. I think so many people say, well, how do I do it? How do I make the time? How do I make that happen? And you just
You
do.
just do. Yeah. Like I would wake up early some mornings, or like with the time difference, sometimes I had client calls at 6 a.m. or I had one at like 4:30 in the morning that I got up for. And yeah, I know some people would be like, you're crazy. Like, why would you spend, all, your weekends and your early mornings and things? But like it obviously paid off. So it was all worth it.
Yeah.
We should
And
add for the listeners that Charlotte is in New Zealand. So if you're thinking,
Yes.
why was she up at 4 a.m?
Yes.
Why?
great
Yeah.
point.
The
Yeah.
time difference. Yeah.
So are your clients, where are they located all over or?
Yes, so I have some clients in North America, Canada and the US, and then I've had a few in Europe, not ongoing, but just kind of one-off projects, and then Australia and New Zealand.
Love it.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. A good reminder to everyone watching, listening, that your clients don't just have to be in your country or in wherever nearby.
Not even your region
or your region
hemisphere.
or your hemisphere.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can be anywhere. Yeah. And how has that happened for you? Is it just, have you found clients through pitching and it's kind of expanded from there, or where are you finding your clients?
So a lot of it has been networking connections, like on LinkedIn. I actually have gotten quite a lot of clients on Facebook. I'm part of a small business, like New Zealand small business page, and people will post on there like, hey, can someone just give me some feedback on my website? I don't really know what I'm doing. And like just trying to kind of get my name out there, but also like be helpful to people, because I always just come at it as like, I'm a small business owner too. I know like what it's like. You can't do everything. So like definitely reach out if you need anything, but here are some tips I just have, like, if it's helpful to you.
That's great. Yeah. Isn't it interesting how, I mean, and because you're in the Facebook group, and Kate and I know because we've been doing this for so long, but everybody's trajectory is a little bit different. Some people do get like almost all of their clients from pitching. Some people get it through networking. Some people, it's so interesting. And there's no way to know in advance except to prepare yourself to be able to get clients in all of these different ways.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's just been like thinking about what has worked so far and then trying to do more of that. So I realized like on my professional Facebook page, like I get a lot of inquiries if I post regularly. So I'm like, okay, I need to like post regularly, because I always can tell if I have been posting, like I get people contacting me. And then if I stop posting because I'm too busy, then that dies down.
Just like pitching, right?
Yeah. So I'm trying to think about like, how can I make that more sustainable for me, and like set up systems for that. Because that's one thing that is like pulling teeth, is like sitting down and writing on social media. I think I use all my creativity in my client work, and then I'm like, what do I say? Like, I know I have stuff to say, but like, yes, I'm looking at possibly outsourcing a bit of that, just to make sure that it's sustainable for me and that I'm using my strengths and kind of outsourcing if I can a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When keeping your time, protecting your time, which is so smart. I mean, this is why you got into it, right? It wasn't to take on more and to then have less time in your day. So that's so smart.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's very wise too. It can take some people a while to get there in their career to really be going, all right, well, I've only got so many hours in the day and I have CEO tasks and I have admin tasks. And if I'm trying to do both something, I'm not going to have time for something. And when you think about it in companies, the CEOs don't do everything, right? There are people who do the smaller tasks because it's not a good use of the CEO's time. Obviously, it can take some time for people to get to that point in their career, but good for you for recognizing that and being open to exploring taking that next step.
Yeah. I think it's just about like realizing that you're a business owner and you don't have to be like a one-man band forever. Like you can, especially if there is something that you can outsource and you feel like, oh, it's not really a strength of mine, but it's definitely like something that I need to be doing, then it's worth it, I think.
Yeah. Do you feel like there was a time when you made the transition from I'm a freelancer to I'm a business owner? Or because I know that some people kind of struggle with making that transition. I'm sure there are actually some people who skip over it completely, who just immediately go in and go, I'm a business owner. But what did that look like for you? Do you remember?
I think when I started like setting up a website and getting my branding, like the logo and like thinking about who I am as a copywriter and things, I think that kind of was when I started thinking about it as a business rather than like I'm just a freelancer.
That's great. And did that affect any of your other decisions, or did that affect how you dealt with anything in your business?
Actually, I just remembered another thing, which kind of answers that question, but I had a client who is a business mentor and coach. And after I wrote some Facebook ads for him, he was like, I'm actually doing like this new pilot program. Do you want to go through it with me for free? And then you can give me feedback and a testimony. And I was like, yeah, definitely. Like that sounds super valuable. So I think like his input also really helped me. Because one thing he said is like, when you have a business, like you're actually creating an asset outside yourself that's like inherently valuable. And so I think that helps me think of it as like, it's not just me doing copywriting, but I'm actually creating something that is like in itself that has value, as long as you build that into it. But I think that really helped with my mindset of like thinking kind of long term, like what kind of goals, there's my cat. Like kind of what my goals are. And it was really nice to have that outside perspective of someone who's seen a lot of people start businesses. And I found that really good for my for creating a mindset of like I'm a business owner.
That's terrific. Oh, that's amazing. Wonderful. Now, if someone is listening to this, maybe they're a teacher, maybe they're not, but they're thinking about transitioning into copywriting, or maybe even just giving it a try, what would you tell them?
I think I would tell them like that they should definitely go for it, but expect like to have to work hard. I think you can't go into it just like half-heartedly, like, oh, let's just see if this works out. I think that if you want it to work out, you have to really like set goals, you have to be committed, you have to put in the time and the work that it takes. And you can't let setbacks like discourage you, because I think too, it's easy like when you hear a no or you get negative feedback or something to be like, oh, I'm just not cut out for this. Like, it's just not going to work out. But instead, like just persevering and taking everything as a learning opportunity and realizing that like it's going to take time. That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a new career, right? That takes time, and it takes a little bit of a little bit of courage to be willing to do something different and learn something new, even for teachers. I find we all forget what it's like to learn something new. And I think sometimes teachers are like, no, I know. But they know for their students, and then for themselves, they go, oh yeah. And it can be, but the outcome, as you have proven, is amazing. That's terrific.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what's next? I know maybe outsourcing, but
yeah, I think like because things have ramped up so quickly, I feel like I haven't had as much time as I'd like to focus on kind of like putting my systems into place and building that really solid foundation. Like I've been really busy with client work, which is great, but I'm kind of looking forward to over Christmas things slowing down in just a little bit so I can kind of work out those like the best way of doing things, making sure that I have all my bases covered and that I'm organized so that as I scale that like all those foundational things are in place. And then I think, I'm not in a rush to like grow or like to, build it into some big agency or like hire people or anything like that. I kind of just want to, just enjoy copywriting, learn more, like take on different types of projects and different types of clients. And I'd love to join CCA Next Level. I'd really love to do that. So I think that would be really great for me to learn from other copywriters that have been doing it longer because I know I still have a lot to learn.
That's terrific.
We all do. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Such a good reminder.
The fun thing is we get to keep learning.
Yeah.
Just when we think we know it all, they change something in marketing. There's a new social media platform. So.
Yeah, but that means you never get bored.
Exactly.
I agree.
Love it.
And now if someone is listening and thinking, oh, I really like how Charlotte thinks, I think I'd like to hire her as a copywriter. Where can they find you?
So my website is copybysharlotteellis.com and I'm on Facebook as well, Copy by Charlotte Ellis.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm going to link to it in the description / show notes for everyone listening, whether you're on podcasts, YouTube, it'll be there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
My updating my website is on my list for when I have a bit more time. But,
we'll tell you when this is airing. You've got some time. So.
Little deadline for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gentle deadline.
Gentle deadline.
Yeah. Well, that's terrific. This has been so fun, but also inspiring. I think everybody listening and watching, I think, is going to really enjoy this one. So thank you so much for sitting down with us today. Yes.
Yeah, thanks for having me and thanks for all the support in the CCA. I really appreciate you guys just encouraging us and like spurring us on when things get tough. It's really nice to have that support.
Oh, you are so very, very welcome. Yes. Well, and then with that, thank you all for listening or watching, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye, everybody. Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.